Hello, my name is Tim, and today we will set up the ServiceNow extension for VS Code. Before we begin, I want to put a disclaimer that you will want to consult with your company before using this in any of your instances, as it could be outside of the scope of their policies. Now, the main purpose of this extension is to allow us to be able to work with custom scopes with a dedicated coding environment where we have more control over the code itself. It's a great tool to use when developing. It can even be used with global scope items. I will go over that and more throughout the video. First things first, you're going to want to have VS Code installed. And you also will need a ServiceNow instance that you'll be able to use this with. I'll be using my personal developer instance for this demo. So once you have VS Code, you're going to want to open up a folder. If you don't have one, create one wherever you want. This folder will be where all of the custom scopes will be opened. They'll each get their own folder. Before we get there, we're going to have to get the extension. So you're going to want to go over here to extensions, and then you're going to want to search for the ServiceNow extension for VS Code. I already have this installed, but you're going to want to go ahead and install that. Once you have that installed, if you're on PC, you're going to want to hit Control-Shift-P. On Mac, you're going to want to hit Command-Shift-P. This will load up the command list. In here, you're going to want to do now, create now project. In here, you're going to want to enter in your instance, and then you want to select the authentication method you're going to use. For this demo, I'm going to use basic. Then you're going to want to enter in your username and then your password. Once that's done, it'll give you a message down at the bottom. It'll either say success or failure. If you have a failure, that will require some debugging. Once you've successfully connected and authenticated, you can choose either a custom application, so something you've created or downloaded yourself, or a store app, such as Service Portal, Customer Workspace, anything of those. For this demo, I'm going to show you a custom application. I'm going to import existing, and I created a demo scope. From here, you can select any items that you want to pull in. Now, I'm just going to leave it to select all of them, and then after a moment, it'll have downloaded your entire scope to use. So to show you how this works, I'm going to go to a business role. So this is a business role I created for this demo, and I intend on updating it. First things first, you got to make sure you're in the right update set. So down here, you can click that, and then it'll give you all of the update sets that are available. I'm going to use the demo update set that I had created previously. Any of your update sets will also show up in this list that you've created. You may just have to wait a moment for it to show up here. Now, moving over to ServiceNow side, I'm going to go to that same business role just to show you it. As you can see, it's got the same script where it sets the short description to blank. We're going to update this from the VS Code. So I'm going to switch back over to the code. And I'm going to just have this say auto-filled. And then once I have this how I want it, I save the record, and then I hit sync file. Down here it'll tell you if it had any issues, and if it didn't, it'll just give you a sync completed message. So let's go back over to ServiceNow and confirm it changed script. And it did. That's the general functionality that you'll get with this. However, you can use it for more than just your custom scope. You can also add in other items. So if you go back to it, you can just hit enter and it'll go through with previously filled information. This time I'm going to select a different scope. So I'm going to use Service Portal. I'm going to import that. Now this one's a bit larger, so it took a little bit longer. Sometimes you'll get error messages. So under here we can see that there are all of these different items, and this is for Service Portal Standard Ticket. So as you can see, there's quite a few different items. Now say I wanted something more specific. I want a specific file. You could either use File Search, or you can open up the menu with Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P like we did before, and you could do a global file search, and you can look for a specific file. Now if you know what type of file it is, this will make it a lot easier. For me, I'm going to look up a widget. I'm going to use the breakout game. As you can see, it'll load up the breakout game under my current scope, but it'll be under scratch, as in it's not necessarily part of the scope that I'm working with. And you'll be able to modify this per normal. And with that, that's all you need to know.